I will give a brief review, then I will just continue. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we did? So we did our user router. So here it is inside our router. So we have a two endpoints, login and sign up. So we work on this sign up endpoints.
Yeah.
So inside this sign up endpoints, and we created these endpoints inside our controller. Okay.
Yeah.
So and we collect the user information like username and password from the user using request.body. And to parse from this request.body, we need to use this is called actually middleware. So it's coming from here actually express.json. This
Yeah.
thing and express.url encoded this thing. And after that, we do some validation. And after that, we create a salt for creating our hash password. And using that salt, we hashed our password and we get our hash password.
Just explain me a little bit more about this salt.
Okay. So what is it? It will actually give you some random string. So
Okay.
usually what we do it. So in PHP, I think you know that we do it like this, like MD5, and then we give a password here.
Yes.
Yeah. So what happens here? So let's say someone guess your password. Okay. So let's say your password is 12345, and what he will do, he will also do like MD5 and give 12345. And this way actually he can try to guess your password. Okay. So in our case, what it will do, so it will give you a random string from this using this salt then function. And let's say our user password is 1234567. So now what it will do, so it will attach this salt, a random string, with our this plain password. So after that, actually this will become unguessable. So they can't actually guess. They can guess this thing, but they can't guess this random password, random string. Okay. So that's why actually we are generating salt to make our password more secure. Okay.
And how it is handled when the password is checked?
Yeah, we'll do that while we'll actually work on this login option. Okay. So
Fine.
we'll do that. No
No,
problem.
I just wanted to know the logic. I understand we will do it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know the
I
logic.
understand.
Yeah.
I understand. So what I will do. So let me just show you here. Let's say we are trying to log in. Okay. So user will give a email and a password. So first we will check that this email is actually available in our database or not. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll start using this only email, not password.
Yeah.
Okay. And when we will search, we will get back a user from our database. That user will contains like this username, password, and whatever we have inside our database. Okay. So username, password, and let's say what else we have inside our database. Let's see. It's in my portfolio. So in users. So username, password, we don't, and ID. Okay. So we have these three things. So when we start using this email, and we will get back these three things. So after that, so this password actually our hash password. The password we saved here, this one. Okay. After getting back the user information, so what we will do, we will actually, this Bcrypt has a Bcrypt.js. As you can see, we have a function like compare. Okay. So we can use that. Okay. Let's say compare sync, and this will take a string and it will take a hash. So this string would be the password entered by the user. So this one. Okay. And this would be like hash password we get from our database, the hash that we stored over here. Okay. So we take this and compare this with this one, and internally it will check that this password is actually the hash is similar or not. Okay. So we don't need to think about it. This compare sync function will handle that thing for us. Okay. So this is
So
how
that means it will not because we are not going to get the same salt again.
So
but it has got
we don't need to actually generate the
we
salt
don't need
again.
the
Okay.
salt again. Okay.
So that's the thing. Okay. So we will remove it for now.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So after that, so what we did, so we create the hash password and we save the all information inside our database using prisma.user. So user is our model. Okay. And after that, we generate a token using this JSON web token, and we pass a payload. Actually, we pass the user ID as the payload, so that we can use it in a future route if we need it.
Yes,
And
yes.
after that, we use a secret here. That secret is coming from this environment variable. And to access this environment variable, we need to go to in server.js file and do these things. Required.env. This is
Yeah.
a package, and we
Yeah.
need to call the config function so
Yes.
that we can actually use it inside this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This process.env dot any name we define inside our environment. Okay, so that's the thing. So after that, we create a new user object because we don't want to actually pass the password. That's why we create a new object. And after that, we set the token inside our cookie. So we give a name of the cookie. So this will automatically actually, as you can see here, inside our storage, and
Automatically, it will set
so
in
it
the
will be
browser.
set inside our browser.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after that, so we send our response that you are successfully created your user or something like that. We can pass any message here. Okay. So this is the things we done yesterday.
Yeah.
And now what we will do? First of all, actually, we will create a model. Let me just give you an example. So it's kind of a wrapper. Okay. So let me show you. So it's kind of a wrapper of a for response. So let's say now here, as you can see what we are doing here. So we are passing an object as a response. Okay. So we are passing an object of property like message. Then we are passing a object like data, because this new whoever is created newly as a user, we are passing that also. Okay. So we are passing this thing. So actually, so if you do this way, like we are passing message and we are passing new user, and let's say for a new route, we are passing this way, like login response, just a string. So this will make a actually inconsistency, because we are passing here an object, we are passing here a login, and somewhere else maybe we are passing something else. So this way, actually, it becomes messy to work this with this response in the front end. Okay. So that's why we'll create a wrapper class or wrapper function that will actually make all this response look similar. Okay.
Okay.
So let me just do it, and then you will get more. It will be more clear for you. Okay, so let's just create here a function folder. Let's say utility. So all utility things we will be created inside this. Okay. So let's create a file called response. You can name whatever you want. And here inside here we will create a, let's say, function response, and it will take and three things. So it will take a boolean value. So let me just write here. So first one is the error. So it will be type of boolean that our response is giving any error or not. So it will be true or false. So if there is any error, so it will become true, and if there is no error, it will become false. Okay. So that's the first thing. After that, we will have a message. So it will be type string. Then whatever message we want to pass from our response, that's the thing. So after that, we will pass a data, or we will pass a, let's say, response, whatever actually you let's say you want to pass something like here, as you can see, we passing the new object is created, this kind of things. If you want to pass anything to the client, that time we will use this third parameter. So let's say it can be a type of any object. Let's say object. Okay. So these are the three things we are going to pass to this response function, and it will actually wrap these things into an object, so that actually we can reuse it in every router endpoint. So let me show you.
Okay.
So here we will take parameter like error, and after that we will type message. After we will write response. So for three things, and from here we will return an object with using these three element. So now what after that? So what it will do? So it will always give you a response that is look like this. First one is would be true or false. Then second one would be a string, and third one would be an object. Okay. So this way actually, whenever someone work with our API in the front end, they know that whenever we make a request to our API, so they will get this type of response back.
Yeah.
Okay. So it will be more easier for him to actually work with this API. So after that, we will need to export it from here so that we can use it everywhere. So we'll write module.export, and we'll write response here, so that we can use it inside our user controller. So first of all, let's import it here. So response. So as you can see, this is utils/response. So we'll import this one. Here it is. and now we can use it. At the bottom, so we'll create a response first of all. So const response equal, we can call the function, and as you can see, it will take 3 parameter: error, then message, and a response. Okay. So we will pass that there is so whenever we are inside the try block, we know there is no error, but wherever we will go inside this catch block, we know there is error. So the first parameter should be that there is no error, false.
False.
Okay. Okay, the second parameter would be a message, so we can write that user created successfully.
Yeah.
Okay, so the third parameter should be like any data, whatever we want to pass. So let's say we are passing this new user. Okay, so this will actually give you a more actually clean actually response that we can pass inside this res.send. Now we can copy this and we can pass over here. Okay, so this is how actually it will work. Okay, and the same thing would be go here. So we will just do the same thing, like copy that, and for make it more shorter, we can just pass directly here this response, because we know this will give you a response back, and that we can actually pass. So this response, instead of doing like this, so we can just
but
take
here
the whole
in case of error, we are not going to get new user object.
Yeah, I'll talk. I'm just giving the shorthand, then I will work on this thing. Okay. So after that, we know that there is some error. So what we will do, we will make it true first of all, and after that, so we will remove this error message, and we can type e dot message. Yeah, because most of the times error will get a message. So we can do that, and after that, from the new user object, though we don't have, we can pass a null. Okay,
null.
That's one thing. And if you don't want to pass null or like this, so you can also pass, let's say, false or whatever actually. So you just need to be consistent.
We can even
that,
pass
okay,
a blank string.
Yeah. So we can pass anything what we want.
Fine.
But in TypeScript, so actually you need to specify this type. Okay, so that time actually it will be different way. But in JavaScript we can pass anything here. But for now we can just stick with the null. So whenever we have any error, so we'll pass null in the
null is normally used when you're using TypeScript, then you're using null. Okay, fine.
So we are using null here, that we are not passing anything. Okay, so we don't have anything here, because actually whenever we usually use it, so let me show you how we're gonna use it in the front end. So actually we'll never actually use this thing. So let me show you how. Let's say we're using Axios and get a response. So let's say we're getting a data from Axios. Let's say Axios response from Axios.get. Let's say our URL is something. So, and in the Axios race, so it will be like this, that constant data equal would be Axios race.data. So we know that Axios race, to collect the data from Axios race, we need to call this data property. After that, we get this data, and this data should be look similar as this response. Okay, so we know that this data is containing this true false value, then a message and a object. Okay. After that, we will check here. So if data dot error equal true. So if there is any error, so we know that we are getting response from this block. Okay. So here we can actually do our error handling in the front end, no problem. But in else block, we know that there is no error, so we will obviously get this data. Okay. So here we can actually access the data dot response. Okay, so this is how actually we will work in the front end. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so after that, so this is how actually we'll pass all of our responses. Okay, that's the thing. And after that, let's clean this function so that we can reuse some of the code inside our login route. Okay. So for that, so we'll create something for, let's say, some helper function like to generate the JWT token or to verify this JWT token. Same thing like this hashing thing, and this type of things actually we'll do outside outside of this function, so that we can reuse it if we need it in feature router. Okay. So for that, inside our utils, so we'll create another file. Let's say call helper.js, and it will be a simple object. So we'll name it helper. And inside the object, we will define our various functions. For now, let's export it. So module.export. and helper, and inside there, let's say we'll first generate a function, create a function like get JW token, JWT token. So what it will do, so we will just do these things here. Okay, that's the thing. So for this, so and whenever we create a function inside this object, so we need to give a key or the name of the function, and after that we will just give a colon, and after that we will define our arrow function. Okay, so that's the thing. And after that, so we'll take a parameter here. So what we need to generate a token, so we need a ID.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just take this as a parameter, the user ID. So we'll write here ID. And after that, here we will just copy the same thing, this whole thing. And here, let's see what we don't have here actually. So first of all, we don't need this JWT, so we need to import it. So const JWT from require JSON web token. So we get our JWT, and after that, so instead of user.id, we are getting that thing from this parameter. So we'll just copy and paste it over here.
Yeah.
And after that, we'll get this thing from our environment variable. So that is fine. So after that, this way actually will create a token. So after that, we can just return this token from here. So now we can use this function inside our user controller instead of doing this type of actually this way what will happen. So you don't need to actually remember what function you need to do in and how you need to pay the pass the payload and how you need to pass the secret. So you can just simply do like this. So const token, then you will write helper, and it will be auto imported, and after that we can just pass get JWT token, and here we will pass that user.id. That's it. So you don't need to do this type of things. Okay, so it will make your life more easier. Okay, so after that, so what else we will do, let's see. We can do this salt and the hash password thing also, because there are two lines you need to remember. We can create a function that will do this whole thing.
Yeah.
So we can create here also. And in the object, so as you know, actually here this helper object is similar like this. Let me just show you. So whenever we define an object, we will give it this curly braces, and we will give a key, and we'll give a value like so. And if you want multiple key and value, so what you will do, you will give a comma, and then you will give key 1, then value 1, like this. Okay, so this is how actually we will do inside here. So this is our first key, this get JWT token, and this is our first value. And now we want to define another function here, so we will give a comma. So this comma, and after that we will write another function like, let's say get hash password.
Yeah.
And we'll give colon, and we'll do the same thing like another anonymous function. Okay, so in future when you need another thing, so we'll do the same thing this way. So this is how actually this helper function will work. Okay, so after that, so we'll cut from here. So what else what we have here, so we'll take the whole thing, paste it over here, and see what we don't need to import. So we need to import bcrypt.js. So we'll write const bcrypt.js from require bcrypt.js. Then after that, we don't need to do anything else here. And for the hash pass, so we need this password from as a parameter because we don't have anything here.
Yeah.
So we'll take this thing here, and we can return this hash password from here. So return hash pass. And here, so we can uncomment this thing and duplicate it. You can call helper dot get hash password and pass the password. Okay, so so we'll test the router again, then we'll remove this comment. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that, anything else? So let me see. Okay, so another thing is that so we can like do this type of validation thing inside this helper function, because so most of the route we need to do this validation. Okay, so we'll create a helper function here like validate something. So we'll let me show you. So validate user input, let's say. And here, so let me just show you how we will do that. Then we will define the function here. So first of all, we will write helper dot validate user input, and after that, so what we actually want to validate, let's say, so this will actually check that is there this input, this username and this password does have any data or not, the value or not. So what we'll do, so we'll pass all the information by using comma one by one. So let's say comma, then let's say we have some other things. So this way we'll pass everything. So we'll pass everything by separating them as a comma. After that, so it will actually give you a true or false value. So here it will give a value, let's say that they all have a value or not. Is there anyone is null, or is there any value is undefined or not? Okay, so we'll check this thing. So
Yeah.
to collect this type of things, actually we don't know that how much how many value will pass using through this as a parameter, okay, through this function. So that's why we'll use a things called variable argument. So I'm not sure you know this or not. So as you can see, so we can actually, let's say this is a function. So let me, this is a function as we can see, and we are taking arguments and we are putting 3 dot on front of it, in front of it. So this way actually you can actually pass as you can see 1 2 3 whatever value. If you pass 1, that will also work. If you pass 1 2, this will also work. If you pass 1 2 3, this will also work. So this is called actually variable type argument. So you can pass any number of argument in the as a parameter. Okay, that's the thing. So we'll do this thing. So let's say here, so we'll put a 3 dot, and now we will type here a param, name it at param array. So actually this will act like an array. Okay, and what it will do now, so we are passing username, then password, then ID, and let's say ID2. So now this thing, these 4 things will go and go inside there, and it will be look like this. So it will be look like an array like this. Okay,
Okay.
so we can use it this param array, we can use it as an array. Okay, there's the thing. So for now we have only 2 things, so we'll just take these 2. Okay, so and for here we can just console log it. Whenever we will test, we can see that what is passing using this param array, so that we can verify that what's coming. And after that, we know that this will give you an array, but so that's why we will actually take all the element from this array and verify that, okay, this value has any value or not, this is null or this is undefined or whatever else. So we'll check this thing here. Okay, so for that, so we can write like param array, then dot. So this parameter should look like this. Let me show you, so it will easier for us to understand the things. So let's say we give username like user1, username 1, and it will have a password like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So this type of array. So after that, what we will do, so we'll check like, so it will do a filter option. So inside this array, so we'll do a filter, or let's say we'll have another value like it is a null, or if you have another value, it will be an undefined. So let's say we get this array as our param array. So after that, so we'll filter. So when we filter, we will get each item. So this item will first of all, it will be an username. Then after that, it will be 1 2 3 4 5 6. Then it will be null, and it will be undefined. So we'll check here that if this item equal, let's say equal null, or this item equal undefined, that time actually we want to remove this thing. Okay, because we, or what we can do, so we can actually write here a variable, let's say let value equal by default false. Instead of value, let's name it something else. Let's say has error. So we are checking that all the value is actually fulfilled or not. So if there is null or if there is undefined, that means actually we have some error. So we need to ask the user, okay, you have not provided all the value correctly, so please provide all the input correctly. Okay, so that's why we create a variable here. Let's say has error is false, or let's say has error is true by default. So we are assuming that the user is the below user is given that is actually with error. So there is we assume that there is null or there is undefined. Okay, so after that we will check and we will change this value. So if, and we are checking here, filtering that all these thing. So instead of filtering, let's map it, or we can just do for each. So we are iterating through this array and getting all the element and checking that element is null or undefined or not. So if there is null or undefined, we'll take this has error and we will put here is true. And though we already get an error, so we can just return from here. Return has error. And if there is no error, then actually what we will do, so we will just put here a false, that because we don't have any error for now. So we'll check each element that this element is null or undefined, this element is null or undefined. So let's say for username 1, so is it null or undefined? No, this is not null or undefined. So this block will not run. So it will go this else block, and we will set this has error equal false. So there is no error initially for this value. Okay, so after that we will go for second value. Then we will again check there is no error. So we will set that has error equal false again. So the final value till now has error equal false. Okay. So after that, so we'll go for null. This third value. So then this time this block will execute because now this item equal null. This condition is true. Okay. So we'll go inside and we'll change the has error value to false to true. So now this has error value is true. And also what we are doing, so we are returning the has error value because we already get an error. So we don't want to run this function anymore. So we just returning from this function with this has error true value. Okay, that's the thing. And if there is no error, let's say we have only these two value. So what it will do, so each time this block will run. Okay, so for first value has error equal false, the second value has error equal false, and after that this for each loop is done. So what we want to do after that, so we want to pass this has error here also, because now this has error equal false, and we know that there is no error, and we can move on with our the rest of the things here inside our controller. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so now we actually want to test this function that is working fine or not. So that's actually we can comment it here, and we can just use inside our login to check that actually this function is working or not. Okay, just to check. Okay, so after here, so we'll write, let's say, an helper dot validated user input, and after that we will pass, let's say, user 1, and we'll pass another value like 1 2 3 4 5, the what actually we did here in the example. So we'll do the same thing. And after that, let's say we'll pass a null. So we'll check that what value we are getting from this here. We can just store this inside a value like has error, and after that we can console log it, as well as we can actually let's say pass it here. So this is for the testing part. So we'll use the response later. So just for check that it's working, how it's working. So we'll test in the login route. So let's run the server. So it's running. So let's open the Postman. So our API was this portfolio API. So inside there we have a login route. So that's it. Now you can, if we try, as you can see, has giving is an error is true because we are passing from here is a null. Okay, so let's remove it and let's see it's giving me false or not. After that, if I try it now, so it's giving you false. So our function is working, we can say. Okay, so this is how actually we will simplify this thing. So whenever we need to check, and in future, let's say you are expecting something from user, and you want that user should not put any -1 value. So we specifically want that user, if the user is putting somewhere -1, we want to throw an error. So that time actually we can actually pass this way, like so here. So actually we can increase the condition like item equal -1.
0.
So,
Or it's equal to -1.
Yeah. So if we do this thing, so that time actually we can throw the error. So actually you can reuse the function as you like. So this will make your life more easier actually. So actually I use this type of function actually most of my project. That's why I'm going to show it. I was showing you. Okay. Okay. So now we can go top, and instead of doing this thing, we can just write this validate user input, and we'll pass the username and password. And after that, based on this value, if this is false, then we are going to throw that this error. And for this, if you want, you can create another function. But for now, so though is a only single validation, we will just keep it as it is. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Okay. So after that, so yeah, most of the things is done, I think. So yeah, so we can test the sign up login. Let's close all tabs. User sign up. See our database is from here. So let's make empty. So we removed all the user information that were previously there. So now we can test from here. Let's say user one. The password is this, and let's try. So we are getting something error true and response is null. So we are getting some error. And another thing is to understand the error. So it's better you log the error here. Okay. So to understand the error, so we are console logging the error inside this try catch block. So let's try again. So we get some error, as you can see here. We are getting that enter username and password, but I think we have already done that thing. So has error will give you. Okay. So this is false. This won't work. Let's check the value. Okay, so now actually it's working.
We made the wrong logic there because we were looking
Yeah,
for
so maybe we are actually we are throwing this thing. So yeah, so the value is false. So there is no error. Then we are going move. Then we move on. But initially we actually did wrong way. So we given false here. So that's what they show. Anyway, so now actually it's working. So we can remove the unnecessary comments to make our code more cleaner. So we can remove this token thing, and after that we can remove this as password, this comment. And after that, yeah, so this is, I think, all good. Okay, so now actually we can start working on this login route. Okay, so for that, so initially we need to get the username and password again from the user. So we'll do the same thing like this. And so first of all, we need to do a try catch block previous. And in the catch block, so we'll do the same kind of thing. So this thing we can copy and paste it over here. So if there is an error, we will just do this thing. So after that here. Oh, and another thing is that this message spelled is wrong, misspelled. That's actually we are not getting any message that time. Okay, so let's fix this thing. MESSAGE. Okay, so let's fix this thing. Okay, after that, so inside here, so we'll collecting the user information. So we are collecting from the username and we are collecting username and password from the requested body. And after that, we will check these things are empty or not. Do the same thing like we did here. And we can also remove this comment console log. So we'll do this thing. And we'll name is at validate. And after that, when it's done, the validation is done. And after that, what we'll do? So we know that the user is provided successfully this username and password. Okay, so now we'll see that, okay, this using this username or using this, if there is email address, so at that time what we'll do, so we'll check that using this username or using this email, there is any actually users inside our database or not. We'll just search by this user. Okay, that's the first thing we'll do. So the search user by his username. We'll just check that using this username, that is there any user inside our database or not. That's the first thing. So for that, so we'll use again the Prisma client. So we'll create object of Prisma, new Prisma client. And after that, so we'll write Prisma dot user. This is our model. So this user model. Okay. So after that, so we'll write, let's say find, and we know that as you can see, we have three functions here. One is find many, but we are looking for actually username. We know that this is a unique value that we will get back a only single user. Okay. So we know that thing. So that's why you can use find fast or you can use find unique. Okay. So it's better to find unique because we know that this username will be an unique value.
Yeah.
So we'll do this thing away. And after that, here we need to pass argument, as you can see here. So this argument will be an object. So we'll give an object, and after that, if we just press Control space, so we'll get this kind of suggestion that what you can pass inside this object. So if you see that we can pass this where block, and inside the where, so we can also again pass an object, and if you Control space, so you can see we can search by these two things, ID and username.
Yeah.
Because you know that we are searching by what? We are searching by a find unique thing. So that's why inside our this user we have two unique things. ID is a unique value and the username is a unique value, but our password is not actually unique. That's why we are getting this two suggestion. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So we will search by username and colon, and the username passed by this user will search by this. So if there is any user is available inside our database, then we will get back that user. So you can just store that inside a variable like user. And after that, we can just console log it that we're getting the user or not. For now, we'll just res.send here some dummy content. Let's say success or anything. So we'll work on that later. But now let's test this thing. So we'll copy this same thing because we need the same thing. And we'll go inside our login here.
Yeah.
Here from here we will go this body and we will go inside draw and select JSON from here and do the same thing. And now let's say we are passing here 2. That user doesn't exist in our database. So let's see what we get. So it's getting success, and inside our console log. So here as you can see, it's okay. Okay, let's make it more clean console log so that we can understand that what console log is printing what. So this is user and anything else. Okay, let's try again. Cannot set header after they are sent to the client. Okay, so as you can see, so we are actually getting in then a catch, then finally. That means actually this is an actually promise. So we don't actually done this await thing. Okay, so there's a issue. We have missed it. And for using the await, we need to actually use here async. Okay. So now let's try again. So again we get some error, and here as you can see the user equal is null. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are getting null. So that means the user doesn't exist inside our database.
Yeah.
So now we try this user one thing. So let's see what we are getting. So from here, let's see user one. Now if we see, as you can see, the user one is available here. Okay. So there's the thing. That user is available. User ID is 17. Username is this, and this is the password. Okay.
Yeah.
So this user is available now because we are passing here is user one. This username is also available here. Okay, that's the thing. So this actually will check that and the initially first we will check that the user is available inside the database or not by using their email or their any unique thing. Okay, now we are not using email here. That's why actually we are using this username. Okay. Okay. So after that, as you can see, we got some error. So let me show you this. What is this error? So this is actually a common error. So what I did, as you can see, this is our try catch block. Okay. And we are sending the response here. And after that, as you can see, I forgot to remove this code that was previously there. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why. So it's sending a response from here, and again it's sending a response from here. That's why, as you can see, is showing an error like cannot set headers after they have sent the client the response.
Already
so
sent,
showing that it's already sending the response, and we are trying to send the response again. Okay.
Yeah,
So we'll just remove this thing from here. So this type of error actually sometimes happens, so you will understand. So it will help you in future. Okay, so after that we get an user. So the user would be null, or the user will be have an object. So that's why we'll check here that. So if there is any user and user equal, let's say null, then we know there is no user. So the username is wrong. Okay, so we'll throw an error that
enter correct username.
Wrong, let's say wrong username, though, or we can say that user doesn't exist. Okay, so whatever actually you can say. Okay, so then if we try to do this same thing here now, let's say for the user 2, so we'll get that user doesn't exist. Okay, that's the thing. And if there is any user, so we'll do the rest of the things now. So we know that there our user is there, and we'll now validate our password, that the password is given by the user. Okay, here we'll do the validation of our password. For that, we can actually create a function here, as we did like this. Let's say we'll write validate password, and this will also take the password from the user. And after that, we'll do this type of same thing. So we'll write bcrypt js.compare sync. After that, we will pass our password, the clean password 123456 let's say, and along with this hash. Sorry, this is actually our hash password. No, sorry.
This is our password.
Yeah, so this is our actual password, and we will pass the hash password also from here. And hash password we will get from our database. Okay,
from the database. Okay.
So we'll pass both of the things, and after that, so we'll check that what's it's giving me. Let's say result. So if we check here, so it will give you a Boolean value that this compare is true or false. Okay, so we'll get this thing, and we'll let's say return this result. Oh, sorry. Okay, so after that we will come over here and we'll do this validation. And our hash password will be available inside this user object. Okay, that's the thing. So okay, so we'll write helper dot validate password, and here we will pass our user input password, this one, and we will pass our user dot password. This is our hashed password that is available inside our database. Okay. And after that, we will get some result that user is password is correct or not. After that, we will do the same if condition. So if the user is the result is true, that means that the password is correct. If this is false, then we will pass an error. So if this is false, then we will throw we can actually throw the same, or we can just say that password is wrong. Incorrect. Now, so if we check,
is it safe to tell the person?
Yeah, I understand your question.
Is it safe to tell them that the password is wrong?
Yeah. Let me show you. But yeah, you can also if you just do this the same thing here, that user doesn't exist. Actually, that time what will happen? So let's say I am a user of your application, okay? And I'm just giving wrong password, and you are giving me that user doesn't exist. Then what I will do? I will try to create a new user with my existing username, okay? So that will create a mess. So that's actually whenever the password is wrong, we can just say that, okay, so you are already of my user. Now you can just, your password is wrong. You can try to forget and click on the forget password button, and you will require your password. Okay, so that's actually we are passing that. Okay, the username is wrong, but whenever we don't have a user, that time we are not saying that the username is wrong. We are telling that user doesn't exist. Okay, that's the thing. So after that, let's say try the actual password, and the username is user1. The login. So let's see. So get success. That means that the user is actually, this is 123457. We saved it, and the user one is so the login is success, we can say. So we'll do the rest of the things, but let's say giving a wrong password for correct user. We are getting that user password is incorrect. So our validation is working fine. This is validation. Okay. Okay. So the next thing is that what we need to do. So what we did here, whenever we create the user, this is the sign up. Okay. So whenever we're creating the user and store the user information to the database, after that we are generating a token, the authentication token. So the same thing actually we need to do here, because we have done the validation and everything. Now we need to pass a token that will be saved over here. Okay.
Mhm.
We can remove it for now.
So we can create a helper out of it now.
Yeah, we'll do that. Okay.
Mhm.
So to get the token, so uh, up to this, so we know that this is how we will get a token. So we can copy this thing.
Mhm.
First, we will get a token. So we have got the token after that, and this user ID. So we are passing from this user object,
Yeah.
and after that, and this time we can also do the same thing. So this is the same thing actually. So we can do this up to this. And if you want, you can just create another function.
This is what I was saying,
After
like
this.
from
Yeah, yeah.
constant token
So,
to this thing, if we create a new
yeah,
function.
yeah, yeah. We can do that. Let's just do that thing the later.
Yeah.
So we can create a function like pass token
Yeah.
to cookie, let's say,
Mhm.
and here we will copy the whole thing. Let's say this thing up to this,
Mhm.
and for the token,
We
so
need
yeah,
ID.
so we can do this thing. Actually, what happened? So we are already inside this helper, and if I try to access something inside the helper, and we are already inside the helper, that time actually it may sometime giving some error. That's why we'll define this helper.jw token manually as we did actually at top. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So and for to work with this, we need the ID.
Mhm.
There's the ID, and after that, what else we need? So we'll get the token from here. So we'll need the user object. There's a thing. So
Mm.
we'll collect the user object, and
Yeah.
after that, so we'll remove the password, and after that, this race. Okay, the response. So
Mm.
we'll take that one also,
Yeah.
so that we can set the cookie here.
Mhm.
Okay. So after that, anything else we need? Yeah, and we need to return this new user object so that we
Yeah.
can actually pass as a response.
Yeah.
So for that, so we'll come over here and return this new user object.
Mhm.
Let's try to use them and let's see how it works. Let's try in the login. So instead of now getting JWT token, we can just pass the, what was the function name? So pass token to the cookie. And here we will pass user.id first of all. After that, we will pass the whole user. And after that, we will pass the res or result, this
Mhm.
response.
Mhm.
So then this response will set the token and we will get back a new user object, new user without the password.
Yeah.
We deleted the password inside this. So
Yeah.
after that, we can console log this new user, and let's say we will use this type of same response
Mhm.
here, and the error would be false. The message should be user logged in
Mhm.
successfully. And after that, as an object, we will pass the new user.
Mhm.
You can just call it user colon new user,
Mhm.
not new user colon. So we need to just pass it because we are putting this thing inside this response object, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
key
Yeah.
would be by default this. Okay.
Yeah.
So after that, let's try now. So we don't have any cookie here currently. And now if I try to do this, let's use the correct password and correct username. And if I try to do this, so we are getting that user logged in successfully, and inside our cookie, as you can see, our cookie is also set. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the login is successful.
Successful.
Okay. So now we can actually do the same thing for our sign up, so that
Mhm.
we can remove the duplicated code. So you can copy this code. We can go
In the
to,
response, please, can you go back to the Postman?
yeah, sure. Yeah, there's the thing.
We are sending the token as well.
Yeah, we're sending the token. So if you want, you can remove it, no problem. So
Because if we are setting the cookie, then I don't think we should send the token, or we should.
actually, so let's say this API can be actually used in mobile application also. I told it in yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you just do this thing, that time actually we don't have any cookie or something. Actually, it's
Okay.
better
Okay.
to
Okay.
store
Okay.
them in the
Yeah,
local
I
one.
remember. I remember.
Yeah, there's a thing.
You told
So
me.
if you just use it in the web application, that time actually you remove the cookie. And if
Yeah,
you
fine,
think
fine.
that okay, we will build a Android application from there, let that time actually we
Yeah.
keep that
Yeah.
cookie. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah. So after that, so for here, so we'll remove up to this, and we'll pass the user ID and user. And one thing is that, so as you can see, this ID actually coming from this user. So we can just remove this ID and just take the ID from the user. Okay, so it will be much cleaner. So now we can remove this user ID. Just only pass the user and the response. After that, we will get back the new user. We will pass that here. Okay, and at the bottom, so we will remove this user ID.
Okay.
So I think this should work. Now let's test both of them, then we'll be good. Okay, first, let's remove the cookie from here. And let's try to log in. So we are logged in again, and in the cookie, so we are getting that token. So let's remove it and test the sign up. Let's use that 2, same password, and we don't have any cookie here for now. So let's try to sign up. Yeah, signed up, and we get also the cookie. So the login and sign up both are working fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we can stop here and continue tomorrow. What do you think?
Yeah. We can
Okay.
continue tomorrow.